Hey everyone. So I just wanted to throw out some of my opinion here for whatever it's worth. Something that we need a little more of in this community, country, world. It's a little more empathy and understanding and patience and kindness. You know, all good traits, all good traits. We need more of this because I am so tired of seeing like one person does something we don't agree with, and all of a sudden we throw them under the bus. Like, come on. If people are asking questions, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, you guys. Today I was sent a video, or it might have been yesterday or last week or last month, whatever it was. Today I saw a video in one of my messages, and I get sent a lot of them. And I try to watch them. I don't get to watch very many. But I decided to watch this, and it was one of the TED Talks, and it was talking about climate change. And instantly I'm like, do I want to watch this? It's going to be some liberal garbage, blah, blah, blah. Like, I go super negative in my mind, because I'm like, not going to be worth my time. Well, earlier this morning I was thinking about how we need to be more patient and listen to the other side and stuff. So I was like, fine, I will sit here and I'll watch it to try to understand what the heck he's saying. So I'm sitting there and watching it, not really enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, like, there was this huge twist. Like, it was like a plot twist and got super exciting. So he was talking, this man grew up in Africa. And he was talking about how he hated livestock because of what it did to the environment, and he loved wildlife, loved the environment. And as we grew up, we were taught, livestock destroys the environment. And then he went on to go get his degree at the university, and his professors taught him livestock destroys the environment. And then he studied more and more and more, and yet all these areas where the livestock had been pulled off, there was turning to desertification. Desertification. I don't know how you say it exactly. But the land was dying, basically. And he's like, what's going on? Why is it this? Like, we pulled the livestock off. What is going on? Anyways, he goes on and explains it. It's wonderful. I'll probably share it later on my Facebook page. But he says that how firmly scientists once believed that the earth was flat and how wrong they were, that scientists are also so wrong about livestock and their harm to the environment. And then he does like a bazillion studies where they reintroduce livestock onto land that's just dying and has like no hope, and all of a sudden it's thriving. It's like so great. Yeah. So this man, who I instantly would have been like, oh, you don't know squat, I listened and I learned. And I learned more than I knew about it. But the point, besides that being super cool, the point I'm trying to make is people don't know everything. We don't know everything. We are wrong probably half the time and don't know it. But I mean, at least we're sincere wrong people. My dad, I can't remember exactly how it went, but, we were talking to him, and he was like, Dad, what if you're wrong? What if you don't know what you know? What if we are on the wrong side? And he said, God knows at least that I'm the most sincere wrong person. And how many times are we sincerely wrong? We're not being wrong because, we want to be a pain in someone else's side. We think we know something. And, sometimes we're wrong. That happens. As many of my family would tell you, it's hard for me to admit that I'm wrong. I like being right. We are all learning. We all can disagree with each other. We can all be offended by each other. We can be offended and still live. We can do that. It happens. I get offended all the time. Doesn't mean, I take a personal vendetta against the person that's offended me, who doesn't even know that they offended me. It's okay. Be offended. Move on. But if you want to make an actual difference, you have to be willing to put your ego, your pride, your frustration to the side and love someone enough to teach them what you do know. Some easy things where I know I'm right is that God is great, freedom is worth fighting for, and it's worth all of our efforts. We can make a difference, but we need to get our egos, our pride, our whatever, and throw it on the back burner, because it's insane, you guys. And I get people like, oh, you know, they're trying to divide us, blah, blah, blah. Don't pay attention to it. We've got so many better things to be doing, you guys. I just keep thinking about, like, you know, how we were all raised and indoctrinated. You know, it wasn't until after my dad died that I realized the Civil War wasn't over slavery. Like, I didn't know that. I was, over 24 years old, and I thought it was over slavery? Would you guys have jumped down my throat and told me what an idiot I was because I didn't know? So many people are innocently ignorant. And if you would have said it wasn't over slavery to me 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, it was. And if you would have just yelled at me and told me what an idiot I was, I would have been even more firm, like, oh, now it's 100% for sure that that's what it was, because you're a jerk. You wouldn't have changed my mind. You wouldn't have helped me learn. I wouldn't have changed my opinion. But now, because I've had so many people lovingly enlighten me as I've traveled in the South, that it was not over slavery and it was actually over states' rights, I am now better educated. Imagine that. You guys, it's possible. Be patient, be loving, and teach. Some of my other thoughts is we all need to be a little more independent. I mean, how many of us abhor slavery? Like, slavery is disgusting. Why are so many of us putting ourselves into slavery? Like, can I just ask that? One of the biggest forms of slavery that I know afflicts, you know, most everyone in the United States is debt. That is, like, if all your bills were due tomorrow, you had to pay them all off or go to, let's say, a concentration camp. You had to pay them off or you'd go to a concentration camp tomorrow. How many of us would be sitting in a concentration camp? I think a good majority of us. We teach freedom, but we need to start becoming more free ourselves. It's one of the things I do, because me and my family have been, I guess, slaves to the healthcare system. We couldn't afford our own insurance. We randomly have been on and off government insurance, or state insurance, whatever you want to call it. And if you're on state insurance, you have to do what they want you to do. Otherwise, you don't get it. And then the only alternative is, you know, you pay out of pocket or you get private insurance. So much of the time, me and my family couldn't afford insurance, period. And I was too prideful, and I think kind of smart, that I didn't want state insurance. And so something that me and my family did is we got into like essential oils and stuff. And I've loved it for my own family. My husband We changed jobs a couple times to try to figure out, the best ways so we could get out of our own debt. And then I feel like another slavery we have is our lack of education. We've been programmed to think a certain way. And I mean, as a family, we have been trying to learn. And a lot of that learning has had to come by listening to all the sides, all the different sides, and to try to understand why someone would think the way they think. And it's actually kind of incredible how much you learn when you try to understand why somebody believes what they believe. You guys, can't we just love each other as imperfect human beings that we are? Like, we have enough crap ourselves that we have to fix, that you really don't have the time or energy to fix someone else, or try to, or whatever you think you're doing. You don't have the time. You have your own crap, your own personal self, your own family that you're supposed to be taking care of and fixing and becoming better, that you really don't have time to sit on Facebook and be like, you shouldn't be doing that. It's going to be blah, 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 blah. And yes, I use an annoying voice because it's annoying. It's so annoying. Get over it. You can't fix them. Fix yourself. Please. And if someone says something you disagree with them, but do it maturely. Gosh, I feel like some people's moms sometimes. Be nice. Play well with others. Don't say something mean. My dad would always quote Thumper's mother, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. That's really good advice. If you just pull that lesson out of the environmental garbage that Bambi is, it's a good lesson. See, you can even learn stuff from not the greatest stuff. A wise person can learn from anyone and anything. Do it. I beg of you. Okay, I gotta get back to life. Like cleaning life and mom life. Because I haven't done my kids' homeschooling homework yet with them. So I should do that. But I did eat breakfast before 12 o'clock. So it's a great day. Okay. Love you guys. Let's all be big kids. Let's be adults. Let's go do this.